walking with my son and wife yesterday, and we passed by, and then we saw one of her friends, and she was with her husband. I've never met him. He's never met me, but we kind of heard of one each other. We exist, right? And then when two men meet each other while the wives are sort of already friends, there's like kind of this awkward moment, and you don't really know what to say or talk about. So you kind of go like, "Hey, what do you do for work?" And I do this. And what do you do in your free time? And I always say that I'm always like straight up, like, look, in my free time, I primarily game, right? I'm either at work or I spend time with my family, or if I have actually free time, I try to use it for gaming. And then he said something interesting. He said that he gave up on that hobby a while ago. So I didn't make much of it in that moment, but then I was kind of laying in bed trying, takes me about an hour to put my son into bed. So I'm like sitting there, don't have a phone on. I'm just sort of staring into the darkness while he is, fucking flipping around. And just made me think. And I was thinking about that moment, and I've realized that gaming for me is much more than a hobby. It just is. I have other hobbies. Like I watch the NFL, which is a hobby. I play One Piece TCG, which is a hobby. Right? But gaming to me is more than that. I'll explain to you why. In 1994, we just came freshly over from the, from Ukraine, which is, Soviet Union broke up. We came from Ukraine, me, my father, my mother, and nobody else. And there was the three of us in a really little flat in Germany. And my dad, with some of the very first money he had, bought an NAS, right? He bought an NAS and he bought a game with it called Kickle Cubicle. And he put that in. It was primarily for him it was something different, because back in the Soviet Union, you didn't have these things, right? And there was something so grand that you could put something on the television and actually interact with it. And he bought it, and we started playing together. It wasn't necessarily a two-player game, but it was sort of just puzzle levels which you had to solve. It was first him, then I did it, then he did a level, then I did a level, and then we talked about it. That moment between me and my father created something in my soul, which I cherish to this day, and has actually shaped me throughout the course of my entire life. From that moment onwards, it went past the NES to the Super Nintendo, to the Nintendo 64. Then I got to the PlayStation 2, from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch. Throughout all of that moment, I've actually always tried to keep connected with my father through gaming. We were playing racing games together, we were playing strategy games together, we were playing jump and runs together, or he would watch me play, I would sit there, watch him play. There was something about that which was so amazing. I suppose it's just, father and son spending time together, but we did it through gaming. And that absolute love for that, and that nostalgia and all of that, it shaped my identity throughout all of the course. All of the friends which I found, they have also been gaming, and I've made friends via gaming. I've learned a ton of things via gaming. I've been going through the greatest of stories, and it's just that moment in 1994 has opened up a door to where I am right now, where I'm actually making my own video game. That's how impactful it has been to me. And it's just part of my identity. It's not just gaming. It's not just a hobby to me. It is literally part of my identity. When I will be put into the ground, people will hopefully remind me as part of it as a gamer, and on how much of an impact I had on the gaming community in the gaming world, because I'm gonna make a video game, and I'm gonna build a huge video game company. I'm gonna make the greatest games and put gaming back into its glory days. And it's just, that moment has put me into, it's so tough to explain. It's just something which burns into my soul. It is a connection down to my father, but it's also a connection to all the people which I have met on the way, which were also gaming. Right, back in the day when you were playing like Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, you would get a game, you would take that game and you would go all the way to your friend, you bring that game, you bring your controller and you would play together. Then more people would come, and you don't usually have all the controllers, so people would bring the controllers and we would just all sit there together and we would game in physicality together. I know it's not like that today anymore, but back then it was. And that just meant so much. It is a connection. It was friendships have built through that. It's, people who I speak to right now who I've been knowing for 20, 30 years, they have been always part of my gaming life. Not only the nostalgia, not only the connection to friendships, not only the connection to parents, but also it is for me the greatest escape. I know other people like go watch football, for example, or they go watch, or they'll go to bars, or they'll meet with friends. But for me, gaming actually lets me really escape, right? When I have a ton of work to do, I have mortgages, I have a wife, I have a kid, I have a business, I have other situations, I have taxes and stuff, I have employees, trying to, you know, build something for ourselves. When all of that gets too much, I come home, I put the headset on, I turn on my computer or my PlayStation, and all of that just disappears. I'm at peace in that moment. For those 2 to 3 hours, I'm just at peace. It is literally like meditation for me. And there are many doctors who say it's not the case, that you actually don't relax doing that. I feel like I do. When I, for example, 5 days ago, we had a really bad day, right? My son got really sick. Then my wife got sick after that. Then there was a bit of an issue with my father. Then the tax advisor came to me because of a couple of problems. And then we were running into issues with our video game. There was a lot of things going on. And I'm like, okay, I got this. I'll figure this out. For the next 2 hours, I just need some peace. And I put on my headphones, heard on Borderlands 3, and I didn't even actually really do quests. I sort of was just running around, completing all the things I need for the Platinum Trophy, which is just, you know, running to checkpoints, running to getting all the areas, getting all the collectibles, and just, you know, shooting a couple of enemies. In those 2-3 hours, I really relaxed. But for me, it is important to my mental health. I don't relax like that when I watch American football. I don't relax like that when I watch One Piece, when I play One Piece card game with like other people around. I don't really relax like that doing anything else. But when I'm just in a video game, it's kind of like when I sit on the toilet and I'm alone at peace. Just put on the headphones and you really dive into a great world. This feels beyond amazing to me. From that, not only considering all the connections which I have through life via gaming, not only considering all the great moments and all the amazing nostalgia I have with that, considering not only that, the fact that it's just really important for my mental health, but it is now also becoming my career, right? I have worked my entire life as a recruiter in an HR. I've saved up a bunch of money, and now I'm making my own video game because that is what would make me happy every single day. There's nothing I could imagine better as a career than coming every single day to work and creating video games. So that moment in 1994, when my father got the NES, kicked off an entire 30 plus years of friendships, of peace, of relaxation, of happiness, of unbelievable moments, of connections across the world, and now is leading into a career. At that moment, I cannot consider gaming a hobby anymore, but literally part of my identity and part of myself. If you feel like gaming isn't just a hobby for you, let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it. I'm happy to hear all your thoughts. Apart from that, have a fantastic day.